Hey everybody, Marcus Crawford here with the Idaho Quadcopter channel. Hey, it is April 8th, 2020, and yeah, we're still in the middle of the COVID-19 crisis. Even though we're on lockdown here in Idaho, the governor allows us some outdoor activities as long as they're close to home, and I'm pretty close to home here. So anyway, we're gonna do a little flying today. So I've got a drone in my hand here that I haven't flown for a while. This is the Fimi X8 SE. This is the 2018 version. This guy's been on a little road trip. I sent it to Ryan Duvall, who flew it for a little while and did a few tests on it. Check out his channel, RD's Drone Reviews. I'll put a link in the description. And then from there, Ryan sent it to Ron Brown. And I again will put a link to Ron Brown's channel, and you can see their videos flying this drone. But man, I haven't flown it in a while, so it's been gone. I think I sent it off in October or November, something like that. So it's been gone for a while. So I'm happy to have it back. It's been several months now. One of the things when Ron sent it back to me, I did an inspection of it because a commenter on one of my videos, and I apologize, I don't remember who it was, but hopefully he'll see this video. But anyway, he was explaining to me how on his Fimi he had an arm break just flying it in sport mode, and so he got his drone repaired. But he explained to me, he goes, you know, I'm never going to fly that thing in sport mode again. And he urged me to make sure that I completely inspect the arms on my drone. So when it got back, sure enough, the left rear arm had a pretty good crack in it. I don't know if you're going to be able to see it here, but I've glued it and reinforced it. It had a crack, you know, a pretty bad one, and you could flex it and you could see it. So I'm sure that arm was probably pretty close to coming off. So just, you know, a stress crack from flying. So if you've got a Fimi, I urge you to make sure that you inspect your arms regularly to make sure that they're okay. And by the way, I do have a new arm. It's already here. As soon as all this COVID business is over, I'm going to take it to an electronics store and have them replace it. There's some soldering and stuff that I'm not comfortable doing, so we'll have those guys do that, and then she'll be good as new. Anyway, this is significant because now the 2020 version of this drone is coming out. I pre-ordered one. Banggood has a really good deal on it right now. With coupon code, it brings your net cost to $347. And of course, we know they say they're going to ship it by May 15th, but you know, who knows? If I get mine by July or August, I'll be happy, because you know, we've all been through this before. We know how that works. But anyway, I will put my I am a Banggood affiliate. I'll put my affiliate link. That helps support my channel. Doesn't cost you anything, and I'll put that code in the description. Now, I don't know how long that code is good for, so if you're thinking about buying one, $350 for a drone of this caliber is just a steal. Now, the newer drone is supposed to have more range than this one, and it is supposed to have a different camera. I'm not sure if it's a better camera. It's got a little bit smaller sensor, but it's a different camera. And they're saying it'll have HDR, which is a big plus. Let's see, oh yeah, a couple minutes more flight time. Few odds and ends. They kind of alluded to maybe some more power, but it didn't really say that specifically. The top speed and everything was all the same. So I don't know. I can tell you this is a very powerful drone, and I'm not going to fly this thing in sport mode, particularly with my glued wing here. We're just going to fly it in regular mode, because you can imagine how much torque that puts on those arms. But anyway, I just haven't flown it in a long time, so I went through the manual, and I went through some of my old my own old videos to kind of get myself reintroduced to the drone. And we're going to take it up and we're just going to fly it around a little. Nothing specific. We'll try some of the automated flight modes and just mess around, and we'll look at the video quality. And you know, I've been flying the Hubsan Xeno 2, so I want to see how, you know, stable this is or not compared to that Hubsan. You know, check out the I'm sure we'll check out a precision landing and so forth. So let's quit messing around. Let's get it in the air. Hey, a couple more things I wanted to take a look. Wanted you to see the I really like the design of this RC, the way the phone fits in there. It doesn't mess with the buttons on the phone, and it also, there's an opening enough that the speaker and the microphones and everything on the phone are open, so it's a very elegant design. I wish Hubsan and DJI would take a look at something like this. The other thing is there was a firmware update. I updated it to firmware 1061D. Okay, we're waiting for the drone to find satellites. Well, it says it's got 19, so, but it's still in ATTI mode, so we'll give it a second. The other thing that I like about this drone is it has the power button on the top. That is so handy, just to be able on the top to turn the thing on instead of the Hubsan you're reaching underneath. But anyway, that's probably something for another video where we compare the two. But anyway, I am going to do a compass calibration. I'm going to show you on screen here. It's got if I click on ready to go GPS, it gives me a status for the drone. And by the way, after the firmware update, I did all the calibrations. But I have not done the compass calibration yet. And even though it says normal here, the last time this drone flew, it was in New Jersey. So let's do a quick calibration. Okay, give me a green light go here, and it should reorient itself. So we'll give it a second. We'll get it up in the air and we'll fly it back and forth, and it should orient itself. Now, that has been a bugaboo of this drone, that it has a little bit of a tilted horizon. It has had at different times, sometimes better or worse than others. Looks like it's kind of straightened itself out here a little bit, or maybe even gone too far the other way. But anyway, I am shooting in 4K 30 frames per second, color on general, white balance on sunny day, and I've got it in auto mode. So we're going to start recording now. Gosh, I can't think of any reason why we can't just take off. Okay, so I'm going to hit the takeoff button here, I think. Yeah, and it's asking me to take off, and it says it will climb to 13.1 feet. Auto takeoff. I like the way it kicks the motors. And let's see how high it goes. Yeah, 13.1 feet, so they're right. You can't see it. I'm going to raise the camera up here so you guys can see the drone. Yeah, there you can see it. So I want you to take note of the hover there. It's pretty darn stable. So that's good. That's a good thing. Okay, I'm going to lower the camera. We're going to bring the drone down. And let me tilt the camera back here. And let's bring it in. We got a pretty good breeze going here. Let's yaw it around. That's a pretty quick yaw. I thought I'd slowed that yaw down. So let's bring it in here. So, yeah, I mean, I'm looking at the horizon. I can't really tell here how tilted it is, but let's jig it back and forth here. So a lot of times that'll straighten your horizon out if it's a little bit crooked. But anyway, I see no reason. I didn't change batteries. I've got a battery. This battery only has 45%. I've got another fully charged battery. So we'll take it out and do a droney. We'll bring it back and land it, and then we will. We'll change the batteries. And it's moving around a little bit. We got a pretty good breeze going. Look at it. It's moving just a little. Okay, we're going to go reverse and up now. So reverse. and up. And boy, nice nice straight droney there, nice controls on this thing. But yeah, you look and you'll see we do have a crooked horizon. And you know, I'm going to tell you guys, that has been a problem with this drone from the very start. I did do a gimbal calibration after I did the update, but boy, I'm telling you, that's something that I sure hope I'm jigging it back and forth here to see if I can straighten that, and it doesn't seem to be doing that. So yeah, that crooked horizon, that's a problem, and I hope that I'm going to lower it down so you can see the grid line here, and you can see how far off it really is. So let's hope that that's something that Fimi can figure out on the 2020 version of this drone. You know, what's weird about it is it seems like a couple of firmware updates ago, they had it down, and then all of a sudden now it's kind of back a little bit. But anyway, we're going to do a return to home, and I see that icon has come up on the screen here. Let's see if we can do a precision landing, and then I'm going to change batteries and we'll try some other stuff. So it's raising to its return to height altitude now. Not quite 160 feet, 157, something like that. Yeah, right about 160. So here it comes. It's on its way back to us. At about roughly 11 miles an hour now, 12 miles an hour. It's picking up speed. One thing about this too would be an opportunity for me to look at that arm again. And by the way, this drone, you don't need to stop recording like you do on the Xeno. It uses that downward facing camera to see where it's at. And of course we got, they're trimming some trees here. We got the chainsaw going. So it's coming down. It looks to me like it is a ways off. I am going to cancel this thing if it gets too far off here. Well, it's looking for the pad now. Yeah, it says landing pad detected, so let's see. Guys, we might get this. It looks like it's right over the top of it. Yeah, you've got it on screen there. I think we're going to nail it. There you go. That's how a precision landing is done. It's got all 4 feet on the pad. It's kind of centered on the H. So yeah, I like that. Okay, so I'm going to shut everything down, change the battery, and then we'll take off again. And by the way, another good feature is it automatically shuts off recording when it lands. Okay guys, I've got another battery loaded that's at 100% here. I moved the camera a little bit so that I can kind of turn my back on the sun. Believe it or not, boy, that sun beating down on you gets kind of hot, so trying to avoid a sunburn. So we're going to start video now, and then I'm going to take off with the button on the controller. Hold that down. And then let's pick up the camera so that you can see that. And it rises to, yeah, 13.8 feet it says there. And one of the things that they say about this drone is to let it hover there for a second and have a good look at its landing spot, and that's how it achieves a good precision landing, and it did a good. And now, you know what, you're watching it lower here. That reminds me of the Xeno. It went up a ways. It's down below 13 feet now. So, but a breeze came up, so it's definitely affected by the wind. Let's drop the drone down just a little. So we've got it in frame, and I'm going to drop the camera back down. Okie dokie. So I want to try. Let's just mess around. I haven't messed around with this drone for a long time. So let's just go for a little flight with it first here, And let's look at the video quality. So I'm going to go straight up and out. And like I said, I'm kind of not hitting the throttle too hard because I do have that arm that I repaired with glue, so I want to make sure. So I kind of like looking at the horizon here. It's kind of hard to tell in the mountains if that's exactly straight or not, but it doesn't look too bad. Let's go to that rule of thirds. I'm thinking the horizon looks, you know, I guess it's still a little crooked. Anyway, let's do some of, you guys have seen some of these shots before, so I want to see if I can kind of duplicate them so that you can compare with the video on this with some of the other drones that I've flown out here. So let's fly over the top of Discovery School here, and you know, pay attention to the Boise front off there in the distance. And we're going a little faster than I did the other day, about 20 miles an hour. This is a fast drone. So let's do a I'll try and do a slow yaw here. It's difficult, but there's the Boise front. I thought I had the yaw slowed down quite a bit, but I suspect I need to slow it down just a little bit more so you can get that good smooth. And then look at how the horizon is tilting as I yaw. That's another thing, as I recall, that was pretty common with this drone. Now let's see when we stop. Let's see if that horizon goes back into place. And it's not. So I'm going to do the wiggle back and forth. Yeah, it's still, that horizon is still off. Now there is an adjustment in the software, and maybe I need to do that. Maybe I need to go into the software and try and reset that. But I can tell you previously I always found the default settings, it would find its level, and I'm looking at it now. You know, it's getting closer. So anyway, that's just for your information. So let's go forward, and we're kind of going into the sun right now. Although the sun is high overhead, it's not the winter sun anymore that's low in the sky. And we're at about 160 feet in altitude. We're going to go kind of right over the top of us here. There's some construction going on over there. We are not going to go over the top of those guys. Well, it looks like that horizon is kind of flattened out here as we're flying it. Now what you see there is I'm turning. That's just the natural terrain that raises as you go towards the foothills and the Boise front. Although turning the drone does tend to affect that horizon. Okay, let's bring it back to us here. So this is full stick forward in normal mode, so you know that's pretty quick. Look at that, 37 miles an hour. And I ease off the throttle rather than just snapping it down, because I don't want to put a bunch of stress on that arm. Okay, I think we should try some of the automated flight modes. So let me bring it down here. Let's swirl it around so that it's facing us. You know, the flight controls on this thing are pretty good. They are not, I'm not going to say that they're DJI precise, but they're pretty damn good. Okay. We'll narrate right into the drone. So I think what we're going to try and do first is let's try and do an orbit, and let's use our favorite cell phone tower up there for the for the orbit mode. So as I recall, you have to fly right over the top of it and then back off to start an orbit. So let's punch straight up. I think we need to be up about I don't know, like 125 feet or so. Well, we're more than that, so that's going to call that good. Okay, so I'm going to drop the gimbal. So one of the cool things you can do with this drone is that with the 5-way switch, you can point the gimbal straight down, and then you hit it again and it'll point the gimbal back to level. So let's see if we can get over the top of this guy. There's that gimbal straight down. I did that with the 5-way switch. So that's pretty darn close. So we're hovering right there. So anything you see that moving around, I'm off the sticks right now. So we're going to go into, let's hit that, let's raise that camera again. And boy, every time you go 90 degrees and then back up, you're going to mess with the horizon. And that's no exception there. It's sure tilted. So we are going to go into orbit. And set the central point of the radius with the drone. We're clicking OK, and it says setting center. And now we're going to back off, and it tells us there the radius. So I think we went back like 100 feet or so. Yeah, we're too far there. Oh boy, I overshot that, didn't I? Let's close it back in. Okay, that's close enough. And then I'm going to drop the gimbal down here. So we're setting radius. Now, I tried to set a point of interest and it wouldn't let me. Okay, so I guess you cannot do that. So it's been a while since I've flown this thing, guys. Bear with me. All right, so we are going to go, we need to set the heading on the center. I forgot about that. If you set it free, it'll just stay in its current position. Let's speed it up. Let's make it pretty quick. Let's put it at about 10 miles an hour. And we're going to go clockwise. We're going to click go. And I forgot about this. We got the slider at the bottom. And the drone is starting its circle. Sorry about all that stuff coming up on the screen there, guys. And I think, yeah, I can move the gimbal. So that was me dropping the gimbal down there a little bit to kind of center it. That's pretty good. I'm going to say that that is a circle as good as what you're going to see on a DJI drone, or the Hubsan Zeno does a really good one. So it will just keep going until you tell it to stop. So we're going to hit stop here, and it's going to go into a hover. So then the other thing you can do with this guy is do a what they call a helix. Okay, so let's bring it back towards us, and let's drop some altitude, bring it back, and we'll do a helix. So again, the helix, you need to be right over the top of your subject. So there we are, centered. And I brought the gimbal back up, and there again, it's crooked horizon. Sorry about that. And I hope you guys are bearing with me. It's been a while since I've flown this drone, so I'm trying to remember how to do all this stuff. So center point, and then the drone will shoot a video automatically. So yeah, so we're in the center point now, and I don't know. So we're setting center, and fly away from the center point at least 10 feet. So we're gonna fly back. Well, that was more than enough. Yeah, so that's good, about 30 feet. So we're gonna click next, and we want it clockwise, and I'm gonna put auto return on. Maybe. There we go. I don't know, I'm trying to remember if I have to set the distance of that spiral. I might be too close, but anyway, let's try it. Let's see what it does. So it's beginning its spiral, and I cannot adjust the gimbal at this point. Boy, we do have that crooked horizon. Yeah, I think I probably should have backed it off a little bit further there, but Yeah, that horizon really bugs me. That's a problem, Fimi. You got to get that figured out. That just doesn't work. And it's still moving. You know, one of the things about this drone that I don't like is you cannot tell how far it is. Yeah, so it's returning. No, I guess it is. So it's returning to its starting point here, which is what we asked it to do. But it doesn't have, for instance, like the Mavic Mini or Mavic, you can see that circle around, so you know how far through whatever that automated flight mode it is. And by the way, it shut off video there, so I got to remember to start video again. So we started video. So I think I can get the audio off of my iPhone here. So let's try a smart track here. So profile, it should just follow me sideways. So let's give that a try here. That says the pitch angle is too high, so I don't know what that means. But let's go a little higher. Okay, looks like we got it. So it should just follow me. No, it lost me there. Yeah, I don't know why. I can tell you that this has never been a strong point of this drone either. So let's go back into Smart Track. We're going to go into Profile. Go. Okay, it's got me now. Now, one of the things that you got to remember with this particular drone, and it's supposed to be staying to the side of me, and look, it's almost over the top of me now, and I'm not sure about that. So profile, it should have kept that same profile the whole time, but it's pretty much right over the top of me. Let me see if I can back the drone off here. Where are we at? Yeah, so I lost it. Yeah, so we're going to try that again, guys. So if we go in profile, it should stay right next to me. So let's see what it does. I can tell you that Smart Track has never been a strong point of this drone. Now the other thing I want to tell you is you can, this drone does not have any kind of obstacle avoidance. So you have to be careful when you're doing this, because I can back the drone up as I walk towards it. Well, it's not going backwards, it's just lowering the camera. I think if I had it in that other mode it would, but my point is, yeah, so now it's following me pretty good here. But so what happens if I walk underneath it? Yeah, I think it just loses me. So I was trying to walk back, and it's still facing the other direction. So yeah, let me pick the camera back up. We're done with follow me. Smart Track has never been a strong point on this drone. Just hasn't. Let's turn it around. I'm gonna go back to the Canon camera. Hey, okay, we're down to 30% battery, so I'm gonna back it off just a little. And let's do it. Let's raise some altitude, because I know I got it. Let's just go up to its altitude of 160 feet. Yeah, and it wants to come home, so we are going to hit return to home now. And let's see if this baby will give us another precision landing. Let me get off the side here. And it's coming home. Ironically, I see, looks like we have a pretty darn good horizon now. Okay, it's coming down. Landing pad not detected. Let's see if it'll get it here. Landing pad detected. It found it, folks. And again, this guy does it with that downward facing camera, and it's looking good. Yeah, you can see it here. It's looking pretty good. And it's right in the middle of the H. Yeah, now what you saw it do just then is what I've seen this drone do a bunch of times in the past. Is right before it was in the center of the H, and gosh, it was less than a foot off the ground, and then I think the air cushion from its own props, I think, moves it off. So anyway, it's kind of interesting. I've seen that before, and it automatically shut off video for us, so that's good too. So we got 24% battery. I want to try a manual landing. Okay, starting video now, and we are going to do a manual takeoff. And we're just in normal mode. Let me fly it out here a little ways. You know, let's do a low height flight here. That's close enough. And let's go forward. And boy, there's that crooked horizon again. And let's see how it holds its height. And I think it kind of raised itself a little bit. Let's go in reverse now. It's at 9 feet. Let's go in reverse. Seems to be holding it better in reverse. Okay, I'm going to turn around and bring it back to me here. Sorry about that. Went just a little bit too far. Okay, I'm full stick down now. Yeah, so I was, my aim wasn't very good. I was off the pad there. So what I'm going to tell you about this drone is controlling it for me. You know, the Mavic Mini, I could nail that spot on. The Hubsan Zeno 2, I would struggle a little bit more. This falls someplace in between. And I think if I'd have messed around with it a little bit, I'd have got it right on the pad. But anyway, yeah, we're down to about 15% battery. So let me get everything shut down here real quick, and we'll talk about the flight. Okay, guys, the Fimi X8 SE. This is the 2018 version. Just as much fun to fly as I remember. And you know what? All of the little idiosyncrasies are just as I remember too. So smart track on this thing, it's really a bust. It doesn't really work very well. Hubsan and DJI and others have that down pat quite a lot more than this guy does. I mean, it sort of works, you saw it, but it's easy for it to lose you, and it doesn't follow you exactly. So I can't say that it doesn't work at all, but it doesn't work as it should. The other thing is precision landing. It works pretty good. It finds the pad and it comes right down on it. But you saw in that second one, at the very last second, it's weird. It's like the drone hits its own cushion of air and then moves off. And I mean, it's less than a foot off the ground when it does that. And it was right in the center of the H, so I don't know what happened there. The other thing, if we're talking about negatives, is that crooked horizon. And what's weird is it seemed like they had that solved at one point, and this is worse than what I remember it previously. At first it was really bad, and then they improved it a lot. And I'm just telling you, Fimi, that's something you got to get figured out, because nobody in this day and age is going to put up with a crooked horizon on a photographic drone. So, you know, you can adjust that tilt on that thing, but you saw sometimes it was perfectly flat, so I'd be afraid if I adjusted it, you know, that, hey, there would always be a time when it wasn't exactly right. So anyway, that's something that, boy, a year and a half after this thing was introduced, you would think that that Fimi could figure that out. And let's hope on the 2020 version that they do get that figured out. That said, man, is this a lot of drone for the money. When I bought this one, and that was in December of 2018, I paid $445 for it. Dustin Dunhill had a code that I used for that, and I didn't see the drone until early May of 2019. So anyway, neither here nor there, just telling you how these things work when you buy these drones from overseas. But I really got to where I really enjoyed flying this drone, and it's fun and it's fast. You know, I already kind of warned you about the arms on this, about the weakness with that. I looked at my repair here. I don't know if you can see it, but it looks like it held up very well. I don't see any fracturing or anything there. And of course I was trying to be kind of easy on the stops and not any big jackrabbit starts either, to put a bunch of torque on that thing. So yeah, can't wait till we get the 2020 version and we can compare them, look at video quality, etc. By the way, I think you're gonna, I haven't obviously looked at the video that we got here today, but I think you're gonna look at it and be pleased. This thing always did take pretty good quality video. And in any case, oh, the other thing that's worth mentioning is those downward facing sensors work really well on this guy. We messed around out just very quickly out there over the grass, and it seemed to hold its height pretty good. Yeah, and then, you know, when it lands, it knows where 0 is, so you'll see when it lands it says its height is at 0, so that's a good thing. Hey, so as I always have been saying since the start of this COVID-19 crisis, I just want to remind everybody, you know, be kind to your neighbors and your friends and strangers alike. This is a time when we need to take care of each other and just be kind and do the best we can to take care of our neighbors and anybody else that we see, and not get mad about anything. There's a lot of people that are stressed out right now, out of work, wondering how they're going to pay their rent next month, or food, or much less a medical problem. So just remember that. Let's all be on our best behavior, and we will get through this and maintain that social distancing. And yeah, hey, I guess that's about it. This is Marcus Crawford with the Idaho Quadcopter channel out. And if you like this kind of content, please consider subscribing to my channel. Most of all, I always appreciate that you guys take the time to watch my videos, and we absolutely will see you on the next one. The Fimi X8 SE, really fun drone, man. Take a look at that 2020 version. We'll see ya.